Welcome to a brand new episode of Sister Sister, and my name is Chris Carter. So you're watching us live on Citi TV and listening to us live on 97.3 Citi FM, also on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Of course, Sister Sister is that show that allows you to share your frustrations, share your problems, share your issues that you have in your relationships. It could be, lovers relationship, it could be marriage, it could be with parents, it could be with family, and it could be even with your friends or workplace relationship. All you need to do is just send us your messages on these problems, and of course, the sisters will be here to send their advice. And all you have to do is send your messages to sisterislive@gmail.com, and my sisters will give you the needed advice that you need. But before we get into the show, I would like to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Ghana AIDS Commission, the Red Ribbon Campaign, Onga Mama's Helping Hand, and Kel Kids Toothpaste. Thank you for sponsoring the show. So before we get straight into the story, it's time for us to take a quick break. We'll be back. Welcome back, viewers. You are joining us live on Sister Sister right here on Citi TV. But it's time for me to actually introduce the sisters. In case you're joining us for the first time, the sisters are the ones with the whole advice. They're the ones with the tea. They're the ones that can actually tell you what is wrong and what is right. Sisters, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you all doing?
Fantastic.
Oh, Rosie, I love your glasses. Oh, you like you're giving us some splash of color. It's making me happy.
Passion.
Ooh. How are you doing, Rosie?
Doing great, doing fantastic as always.
How is everything? How was the week?
Week is I wanted to say awesome, but it's been tiring.
Right.
Exhausting.
Right.
But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and you need to rest. You need to rest. You need to take out some time to rest. Sichope, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Sichope, I can never forget your jollof. Anytime I see you, I remember your jollof.
God, I should bring you some next time
You
I'm
should
coming.
taste a shit or two.
She made me taste it, and I loved it. And I'm supposed to buy.
Yes.
So yeah. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
Olivia, you're looking dashing.
Thank you. And so are you.
If I have to emulate you, this is how I will speak.
Oh my goodness, don't talk like that.
Welcome to the show, ladies. Anyway, sisters, are you ready for our first story?
Yes.
All right, so I'm just going to go straight into the first story. So our first stories. Dear sisters, I met this lady in my final year at university, and we quickly became friends. And wow, it was such an encounter. After years of never believing in love, romance, and relationship, my experience with her definitely converted me. Between the time window of us completing our final year and beginning our national service, our friendship grew beautifully, and being a man with good taste and an undeniable crush, I would occasionally spoil her with gifts. Before everything really set off between us, she gave me heads up that she had a boyfriend who she had been with for close to 9 years. Since senior high school. With all the time we were spending with each other, our chemistry drew us into a bubble of love. Interestingly enough, her boyfriend proposed to her during the national service period. Because we were so close, I fully invested in the preparation towards the marriage ceremonies. Ooh, nice guy. I assisted in planning the engagement and wedding, and even gave a few financial favors to the future couple. Even though I left the United Kingdom to continue my education after 3 years, she and I are consistently on FaceTime and texting. Sisters, believe me, it's been 3 years and these two are still not married, and she still wears her promise ring. She keeps complaining to me about her parents and fiance. Poverty is not good. I am not ready for marriage because of the long-term financial plan I have for myself, and I can't start a family now. But because our bond still exists, even though she still claims she loves her fiance, she wants us to get married. She is the only child of her parents, and they are also growing old and wants to see their grandchildren. I feel her pain and pressure because she is also getting old. She is 5 years older than I am. What should I do? Love is blind indeed. Yeah, I see your faces. That's the yes, that's the national anthem right here. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. So does he want to get married with her out of pity or because they're friends? Does he love her? Because clearly she says she still has feelings for her fiancé. This is a very complicated story. Sit your fair.
She wants to be married to this guy.
Yes.
But she still has feelings for her fiancé.
Yes.
There's a saying in Akan that Mutrumojo de Nyankupompe.
Okay.
God does not like people who are indecisive. And that's where she is now. And I think the fact that she's in that place, nothing is going to happen here. And for the guy he is not ready to marry. He stated clearly that because of where he wants to get to financially, he's not ready to marry. So meaning, the guy has been crashing over you for years, but not ready to marry you. Because, again, if he was, he would have rather fought for the relationship vis-a-vis supported you marrying this other guy. So there's no love here. There's some sort of infatuation that would dwindle eventually, which should not be pursued if you ask me.
I think they're just good friends.
Yes, they are good friends, and I think they should leave it at that. But for the one who is also engaged, or what has he done exactly? Because
Promise ring.
Because the guy said he supported the engagement, and now it's promised. So I don't know what exactly happened. Whether it was knocking.
No, I think basically after the engagement.
So there's an engagement. So they are engaged.
No, I don't think it's the proper engagement.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it says going to
he
the
supported
UK and all that. So I'm sure it was a style like. The surprise, like, would you marry me? Kind of like, the Western sort of engagement.
Yeah.
We engaged. He gives, I mean, what we call promise ring here, but maybe he's calling it engagement because over there,
that's engagement.
That's engagement. Yeah.
That's also telling on the other guy that he's not that into you, and he's probably not ready to be with you full time.
But he made a statement that. Poverty is not good, though. So basically, maybe the other guy is not yet financially buoyant to actually
go ahead and marry,
organize a whole ceremony.
When people say that, it surprises me because people can marry with the most minimal of amounts. You don't need to have a big wedding to prove anything to anyone. My point now is they should both go. The girl needs to cut ties with, especially the one she's engaged with now. Take time out of this whole entire relationship thing and figure herself out. Because marrying this friend is not going to resolve anything. It's not love.
So it's more like I feel like it's a pity party kind
exactly.
of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not love. It's too complicated and messy a situation to jump from one to the other, even with the whole circle that they have going on.
Rosie, you actually exhaled. What does your exhalation mean?
You see, I think that most of us, when we fell in love in secondary school, because that was the first boy we sort of had the liberty of calling my boyfriend, we feel something we think is love.
I still don't feel anything for the first boyfriend.
No, maybe you are different. Sometimes like the feeling of attention or somebody in your life who is special with the writing of the notes, and maybe when you're going for school events, this is your boyfriend and you're known, and then you have all these pet names, like the initials put together. I had an equation with my boyfriend in secondary school.
We can tell.
And it was like head over heels, and I thought that, but you see, sometimes what happens is that you're in love. It's not like it's not love, but it's pure, unadulterated initial love. But along life's journey, sometimes you meet somebody that hits you hard. And that's when you begin to know that, no, there are different dimensions of love. Now, for a woman, I feel like for a woman to start looking at another man, it means that what they are having is not completing, like it's not adding up, it's not measuring up in their lives. That's why they want to look at another man. You understand? Especially if it's a school love, which is that's probably the first man you've known, and you've started dating and blah blah blah, you claim you love him. Now maybe it is the fact that probably that's the first man to have, quote unquote, broken her virginity, and maybe that's why she thinks that, oh, I'm in love with him because he broke my virginity and I can't explain to another guy, so I need to stay with him, I need to be with him and all of that. But this guy, they have nurtured something. I'm not saying this guy is right for her, but this guy has given her an experience of a different kind of love that she probably has not really experienced before. And that is why she keeps letting him in on her love affair with her initial boyfriend. I'm sure she's more comfortable communicating with this guy. She's more comfortable sharing her fears and her, anxiety and everything with this guy. And that's why the guy found it expedient to come and sponsor the promise show. You know what I mean? I mean, who does that? Now, and the other guy too is just seeing somebody who is vulnerable, somebody who is probably desperate to get married, somebody who is probably less... doesn't have enough money. I don't know what word to use for it. It's not poor, but
financially sound.
Yeah, well, not financially sound. And he's probably enjoying, I'm sure she's probably seeing this girl's issues like story, Oh, it's really nice to talk to this girl. Charlie, she has wonderful tales. I can't wait to talk to her. Oh, what's up with her and the guy now? And like Sicho said, I think that when you're going through stuff like that, you need to take a step back. And dissociate from the first one, the second one, and try and find you. Because sometimes the people we were in secondary school, they are not the people we are now. Some of us are miles apart. So you need to discover you for you and make sure you're making the decision for you. Because promise ring 3 years. Charlie, seriously.
I mean, become Lord of the Rings.
Keep the promise ring. When you are ready to do the put a ring on it. Then when you put a ring on it, the next week we are going to see parents do something and do show. Promise ring for 3 years. I mean, I was about to say crack tiny, so there's nothing backing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's
not like a strong.
I don't know this promise thing. I don't get it. Elsewhere, people get engaged with a promise ring and they hold themselves accountable because they've been promised. But over here, until you go see family, that promise is just because we don't really understand the concept of promise ring. It's a foreign concept that we haven't grasped properly. You know what I mean? So I think that, look, I don't think she's in love with her fiance. I don't think she's in love with him. This guy too, she's only enjoying the attention from this guy. But I think that the second guy has made her aware that she doesn't even really love the first one. But I pray that this guy sending the message does not, take advantage of her in the situation that she's in. Just leave her be. I think because the guy is the one sending the message in, I think that you should give the girl some space to deal. Yeah. My advice to the guy, because he is sending the message in, I think that in all fairness, if you truly care about this lady, give the lady some space to be able to separate from you, to really evaluate who she's with now, to see whether this is someone I really want to be with or not. Or otherwise, if she wants to let go of the two of them, let's go of the two of them. Decide. Because listen, marriage, people don't understand that marriage is, when they say it's a long journey, I used to think that it was one of those, marriage indeed is a long journey. And, when you get married, sometimes even within the first 7 days, you may see certain things that shock you. And you just go into reset mode like, oh, hold on, did I just get married to this? Or your partner will also see something that shocks them. You know what I mean? And it's not intentional. That is what marriage is. It's the one place that you get certified before you begin to walk the walk or talk the talk. So at the end of the day, you need to make sure that it is your decision. If it's your decision, it's easy to work through the motions. You go through your ups and downs, but eventually it's easy for you to see that, look, listen, this is my choice. This is my decision. I married because I genuinely love this gentleman and I'm willing to work on it. But if you're not sure and then you're doing this lasty thing, I mean, the fact that she's trying to look at somebody else means that she doesn't really know what she wants.
Exactly.
So as a friend, distance yourself, step back, or advise her, ask her, what do you really want? If you think, I don't think I'm the guy for you, because I may not give you what you want, but maybe this one is also not the guy for you either. But whatever it is, give the girl some space so that she can deal.
Right. Olivia?
To this guy, just stop making yourself an alternative for this girl. Stop being a ray of hope for her. Because what she doesn't get in her man, she comes and she gets from you. She's able to download. She's able to get comfort from you. She's able to get that financial backing from you. This whole thing, the reason why I'm thinking that we're all confused about this whole engagement thing, because we're not quite sure, because at no point in time did you actually mention that you're actually friends with her fiance. So is did you give her the money? Did you give did you as a guy give her the money so that she'll give the money to her fiancé for him to use to buy the ring? Like, I'm trying to figure out what the connection is.
Oh.
Do you get what I mean? Like, it's kind of messed up. Or did you help her get her own engagement clothes? That is, if they actually went through the whole engagement process. Like, at which point in time did you actually financially get involved if her fiancé has no idea of your existence?
Because she said, I assisted in planning the engagement and wedding and even gave a few financial favors to the future couple. So probably
so maybe gave her favors.
Yes.
So maybe when the talk started happening,
Give her some money towards...
gave her some money maybe for decor, for this, for that. So
it hasn't
technically...
happened.
Yes, technically he's not like really, like he invested around and not necessarily, this is my understanding, in maybe the ring or stuff like that. So basically a conversation about marriage and engagement came up, but after 3 years, still nothing is happening. Now, the reason why you feel burdened by this girl, because you stated emphatically that you've got plans for yourself, you're trying to sort out your future. It's like you've got a whole plan for yourself as to exactly what you want your future to look like. But then again, you also feel pity or obliged to sort of be there for her. So this is you're like, you have mixed feelings about the girl. In one breath, you understand where she's coming from. Time is ticking. In another breath, you're going on about, but I'm not currently in the position to marry her, or to even consider, because I've also got future plans of my own. The thing is, once you are there, you will always be an alternative for her. So like my sisters are saying, you need to disconnect. You need to stop being there. She needs to know that if this is the guy, or have that frank conversation with her and let her know that you are not ready for marriage. You want to be there as a friend for her. Don't give her false hopes. Don't give her the impression that you like her beyond friendship, because if you're doing that, you're giving her mixed signals, and she's hopeful that maybe some way, somehow, you will actually marry her.
Right.
Because you are an alternative, and now all she can see is the good side of you, the amazing side of you. She can't even bring herself to even appreciate what her partner is doing or isn't doing. All she can see is that he's wasting my time, he's not being there, all this wahala, my clock is ticking, yada yada yada. So she needs to be able to decide, and as long as you're there and you're technically not even ready, you don't even want to be considered, you just have mixed feelings, you go back and forth. If you know that she's not your cup of tea, let her know, so that she doesn't consider you in her equation whatsoever.
Right.
So, and then you have to let her know that, I have to let her know that this is not going to work. It's not a good time for me right now. I can be friends with you, but I think that if you need to move on, and this guy's wasting your time, you think your biological clock is ticking, it's time to cut things off with him.
Right.
And honestly, it just upsets me so much when people in relationships have problems with each other. They talk to everyone but themselves. So if you have a problem with him not getting married to you, and you claim to be in love with him, and the marriage conversation came up, and it's been 3 years, like, yo, like, what are you doing sitting down just looking at him and staring at him and hoping that this guy's going to marry you? No. Say, yo, my guy, Charlie,
I'm mistaken. What's going on?
What's going on? It's been 3 years since our planning of wedding and engagement. Are we going to do this or we're not going to do this? So I know exactly where I'm about. Because technically, this girl has no one.
Yes.
However she wants to look at it. This guy is not ready. The guy in Abuchi, he's got his own stuff going on. And this one to 3 years.
And of course, like, even... Who knows if the one in Abuchi does not even have someone?
No, but this local one, they were doing 9 years before the 3 years.
Yes, exactly.
So in total, we are looking at 12 years.
Can you imagine? And you are still sitting down looking into thin air and downloading to this other guy who really cares about you as a friend. And sometimes, there's a thin line between friendship, caring, and affection that you could easily misconstrue for love.
Yeah.
And that's where he finds himself. Because when a man decides, I'm sexually attracted to you, I love you, I think you can be an amazing mom, I think you can be an amazing wife, I'm done, dusted, this is you, this is who I want. They don't have second thoughts about it. Right. But he doesn't have the green light. He's not there.
Yeah.
So if he were there, he would have come in ages ago. But once he's not there, that's way before, and even convinced you to say, Charlie, this guy is not serious. Like, I'm here, like, yo, what's up? Let's do this. But yo, guy ain't ready.
Well, sisters, I've heard everything that you said, but it's time for us to take a quick break, and we'll be back.
It's good to try something new every day. It's good to stay strong together. It's good when you get the rest you need because your family has got you. It's good to share nutritious meals cooked with Marital, a vitamin A fortified oil. Whatever goodness means to you, Marital stands with you. Marital, you deserve a life of goodness. This advert is FDA approved.
Let's live it up and party and have cracking good fun. When it comes to edutainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go, go, go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. A delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper, and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa no kunu abe fie.
Tasty magic.
And your daddy trying to just get
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. It's still Sister, and Well, we've actually heard the first story, but it's time for us to get into the second story. So I'm just going to read the second story right now. Okay. My wife comes from a wealthy family with a great reputation, and I must commend her for agreeing to stick with me. This is a home that had about 4 different maidservants and 3 cooks at their disposal. You can imagine how well pampered she and her siblings were. But with all these privileges, my wife agreed to marry me, although I am not of that same standard or wealthy, but I'm very comfortable. We have been married for 14 months, and since May last year, we have noticed that our house is always messy. I tried having an open and frank conversation with my wife about it, but she misinterpreted the entire scenario and got furious because she thought I was accusing her of not being a neat wife, although that was not my intention. Out of anger and displeasure, she said if I wanted our home to be super clean, we have only one option, which is to employ a housemaid or a personal cleaner. I thought that was unnecessary and disrespectful, but I accepted the offer in good faith. I had to get a housemaid because the cleanliness of our home is priority. After all, I mostly host some of my business partners at home for meetings. I got a very beautiful, smart, and homely housemaid who works diligently in making sure our home is left clean and tidied up always. Sisters, here comes the problem. Ever since Franca, our housemaid, started working in our home, my wife has been acting extremely jealous. She's been picking fights with me unnecessarily to the point of accusing me of having an intimate relationship with our maid. I find this very strange since she has suggested that idea. In the meantime, our housemaid is very beautiful, just like my wife. Although a little taller than my wife, she's slim yet curvaceous in the right places. Who is this guy? The only difference is that my wife is lighter skinned and our maid is darker skinned or dark skinned. I honestly haven't looked at our maid in that regard, but my wife keeps drawing my attention to her. My wife's level of suspicion is causing me to develop interest in our maid. Should I satisfy my wife's curiosity or let it slip? I love my wife, but she's pushing me to the wall. Sisters, kindly advise.
This is such a good one, isn't it?
No, but I can understand where the man is
but he
coming
needs
from.
a bit of growing up.
I understand where the man is coming
Yeah.
from, because you see, she's grown up having everything at her disposal. So having a neat home she took for granted, but she doesn't know how to go about that.
Yeah.
Now she tells the husband, "Oh, let's get someone to fix it because I'm not the one to clean your home for you." Well, he doesn't like it, but I'm sure she values the fact that a woman of your caliber has agreed to marry me and love me wholeheartedly. If this is what I have to give up, then you go and bring a nice, fine babe. Like you rightly said earlier on, that when a man loves you, Charlie, sometimes you don't even know why. They just do their things. And if a man doesn't want to be with you, you can be Miss World. They don't see it. Yeah. But she's probably feeling insufficient because, hold on. I thought I was fine, I was beautiful, I was everything. But here comes a maidservant who is equally fine, beautiful, curvaceous. I mean, no excess fat anywhere, doesn't even have to struggle to look nice, doesn't wear makeup and still looks flawless. So she's battling herself because she feels like, competition has come. And this girl has to spend time in our home.
Maybe she lives in the house even.
Yeah, she lives in the house. So I think that as far as she's concerned, she's battling herself because she's feeling like, okay, this girl is everything that I am. And on top of that, she can actually keep the home, something that my husband appreciates. So instead of seeing the lady as a helper in her home, she's seeing the lady as competition. You know, I have a nanny who is very nice, beautiful, curvaceous, beautiful hair. And I've had several people tell me that, hey, you are traveling and are leaving this nanny in the house with your husband. I'm like, my husband will not look at it 3 times. Not even twice. You know what I mean? Not because she's not nice, but because he absolutely did not choose her. Period. And she's a good person. She's able to take care of my home for me. So, to be honest with you, why would I feel that kind of competition? You know, but some people cannot bring themselves to that point that your husband has chosen you for you. And your husband will not stoop so low to somebody, quote unquote, I mean, for want of a better word, you know, the way he regards you in terms of your status, he's not going to, and the way he introduced you, he's not going to stoop so low to be with somebody that she thinks will bring shame to you. Unless, of course, you have concrete reason to believe that this guy has been admiring. So I can understand that because of the consistent accusation of the wife, the man is being forced to sort of like look at the girl really. And I believe that men, they don't listen on. The more you complain about things, the more you tell a man don't go here, the more they have the bravado to go there. I don't know what it is with them. Like
it's that sense of curiosity.
Yeah, the more you tell them, don't do this girl. You know, most ladies can see a girl who likes their man from miles back. This girl, don't go there. This guy, this girl, don't be, because this girl will like. They'll say, oh, no, me, this girl, no, I just work with her. Oh, I just do this with her. Then 4 months down the line, if they are truthful, they can say, hey, this girl, can you imagine what she told? Like, I told you. You understand? So at the end of the day, I think that the woman is just insecure in herself and thinking that this lady has everything that she has and more, in the fact that she's able to keep his home. And for a woman, you want to feel like you are keeping your home. And she probably feels like she's not doing that and this lady is doing that for her and the lady is also fine. So I should tell the guy, look, don't fall into the devil's trap of making your wife right. Right. You know, you love your wife, you respect your wife, you value her for being able to come down to your level, having 3 nannies and 4 maids, and maybe probably moving to a single room with you or a 2-bedroom with you. I mean, you value that. Don't make her right. You know, stick the vows you made. You didn't make the vows with the nanny or the maid. You made the vows to be true to yourself and to be true to your wife. Stick to those vows and don't make her right. And sometimes after a while, she's going to actually have admiration for you when she sees that the moment you touch this girl, she's going to find out. Trust me. She's looking for opportunity. You touch her once, she'll find out. That one I can bet you. I can bet my last penny on it. She'll find out.
You know, I will bet to differ a bit with my sister on certain points. A man can choose you all he wants and all society wants, and he will still cheat.
That's true.
Even with the ugliest of girls. The girl doesn't need to be as nice as the wife. He will still cheat with the ugliest house help you can find on the planet. Men just do what's, I don't know. Sometimes, some men, yes. So that point, for me, was neither here nor there. The regard for the wife and all that, choosing, it means nothing. I think what the man needs is to be very matured and discerning in this whole situation. Your wife is feeling this way because, of course, she's also noticed the beauty of this house help, which I think the right thing to have been done was she should have been the person to pick the help to be used in the house, because she's the woman in that sense, and she's going to have to interact with this person a lot more, because that's just what we women do. So it would have been ideal for her to be the one to choose who she feels comfortable to come and work in her space. Now, all that being said, she is insecure not just because you've picked her, but because she's equally beautiful, and she as another woman can appreciate that in this person. So I don't dispute how she's feeling, but I think the onus is lying on the man in this case to try and allay the woman's fears. Because women will always be women. Their instincts will tell them things. They can see things beyond what, like Rosie rightly said, beyond what we can see in the now. And so she's seeing something that is likely to happen, and she's already working herself up too much to it and probably tempting you to now look at what she might probably be seeing, which is now making you feel like, should you actually do what she thinks is already happening? But it doesn't make it right that you would even think that. I think it's a terrible way to look at things. He needs to be matured. He needs to probably have that difficult conversation a lot of Ghanaians fail to have, whether it's in friendship, whether it's in marriages, etc. Like Olivia rightly said something. when we have issues with people, it's like we are willing to talk about it with everyone else, but the person that needs to hear it. And that problem needs to start with all of us, within ourselves and with the people we have relationships with, to man up, to be matured enough to have those conversations with those people, because that is the only time something can change.
Right.
You need to sit this one down and tell her, listen, these things you are saying are actually the things drawing my attention to this person, because I never even looked at her in that way. And now all these things you are saying are, so you need to stop. Or otherwise, we can let her go, and then you can pick whoever you think you're comfortable with to come in. Because a lot of women who feel that way may be from a certain experience from the past. And the onus is like, because you are the only two people in this relationship. So anything you need to do to make the other person comfortable in it, which will help the relationship in the long term, is what both parties need to look at and do. That's what I always say, because at the end of the day, if they are not comfortable, they will never be comfortable.
Right.
And any little thing that happens in that relationship is going to, escalate into other areas, which doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So he needs to man up and have that conversation. If they need to go to therapy or counseling, they need to do that, because look, if these things are not handled, you think it's little things. By the time you see it's escalated into something that you can't even resolve. True. And the fact that he's having this little tiny mustard seed thoughts in his head means there is a problem, there's a trigger. If it's not looked at, it's a potential threat to the marriage. And I think this letter is not enough. He should go ahead and try to do something about it, to nip it in the bud as soon as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Olivia.
I totally agree. This one, you see, it reminds me of what the Bible says. What do you call it? Flee from temptation.
Yeah.
You don't look at temptation right in the eye and go like, oh, I'm macho, I'm a man, I can be able to deal with it. Trust me, you cannot do
exactly.
Jack. To me, you're silly. Can you imagine? My pastor had an interesting experience the same way. He was like, he came out, and then I think he was on top of, like it was a story building, kind of long story short. And I don't know, I can't remember the long and short, but the long and short of the entire thing was basically the house help came out. She had a towel, and then she just dropped the towel and bent down to pick the towel.
Wow.
Hey, immediately, he had to ask the girl. He got out of the house, called his wife, and told her that girl leaves the house today. You see,
I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but once
it
he
wasn't
sowed a seed in his brain, he didn't want it to move forward.
He did not want it to move forward, right? And this is somebody who is spiritual. And you see, women as we are, God has created us. With just said, he took his time to wash his hands to create us. We appreciate ourselves. You can, as a woman, you can see a fellow woman and go like, damn, this woman is actually pretty, from curves to everything. So if we as women can appreciate ourselves, how much more men? So are you waiting for a day whereby you accidentally saw her in the shower, or you're doing David style whereby you're in the balcony and she's bathing and you're like, oh my God, these boobs, I have to have, like, you do not do that. And the fact that your wife has drawn your attention to it, maybe consciously or unconsciously, the way you responded to her,
the way you
she will clean up, the way you behave towards her.
Or sometimes even the girl.
And women pick up these things easily, and maybe you didn't know, but your reaction to her caused your wife to notice and then actually draw your attention. Because she's also, women, we're funny, we're trying to make sure, she's trying to find out and make sure if her husband actually noticed that, hey, she's got curves. So then he's also watching, hey, she's beautiful. Hey, because he even noticed that his wife is light skinned more than
I have a problem.
For me, the description is too detailed.
Too detailed, and
much.
everything is speaking. She is equally wife material, and this girl feels uncomfortable. Listen, It is, I've mentioned David, I've mentioned my pastor. This one could lead to a Sarah in Abraham matter, whereby, by the time you realize you start having kids with her, you're setting up your marriage.
You should be a proper
marriage. You see, you're
should be a proper Joseph and flee.
And flee.
Run
be
from
a proper
sin.
Joseph and flee, like Rosie is saying. But I think that you're basically setting up your marriage for disaster.
Yeah.
From where we all sit as sisters, and we're being honest with you. You have seen something like this. You can tell your wife is uncomfortable. Call a spade, and ask her to leave.
Yes.
Right.
Ask her to leave, and ask her to leave now. And like Sicho is saying, ask your wife, okay, choose somebody who will be available to help
Very
us
important.
clean this house. And now you've actually left that responsibility to her. And now you've solved one problem, and now you're getting her involved in solving the second problem. So now she will even begin to feel like a part of the marriage, even some more, and the fact that you have actually care about her feelings.
Yes.
And then also moving on to the fact that when things happen like this, it's very important to just general situations. It's very important for you to be sensitive about your partner and about the needs of your partner. Don't just sweep them under the carpet. And she's saying this, and for me, it baffles my mind that you will say that should I actually go ahead
Because that
to
is
satisfy my wives.
That already tells us that that's already telling us that you have already sown that seed.
Yeah. Thank you. So
And he's
already considered
Yeah.
it. He's thought about it. He's meditating on it, and
In his mind, he has done it.
he has done it. Just like the Bible says, once you think about it, you think about undressing a woman, sleeping with her mentally. You've already slept with her, and like I said, that's a recipe for disaster. When my husband and I we got married and everything, we all don't like third people parties in our houses. So we shared chores in the house. Not like somebody you say, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do. But I know when I'm cooking, he's great with washing dishes, so you help me wash the dishes. By the time we finish,
Everything
the kitchen
is
is
done.
clean. I know he's great with helping out with washing out the the washroom. I'm great, the bedroom, the bed, the linen, everything is clean. So it's your home. Make it what you want it to be. Yes, the girl can't. You saw that she has house helps and stuff around her. So in the beginning, if you realize
have known that.
you should take up the initiative and say, okay, I'll lay the bed today. Honey, come help me lay the bed. Like little things. If you think having a third party in your house is going to be a problem, this is if. Now, when she chooses the next person, you also come before she chooses the next person. I think you should both sit down together and have a serious conversation. I am going to bring a third person or a third party into our house. What is the criteria? Should they be old? Should they be mature? Should they not have curves? Should they be straight? Should they not be beautiful? Should they be able to understand? No, it's serious, because you don't know what will trigger anything, and even that cannot guarantee anything. Is it imperative that the person just comes to clean and goes so that you guys can have your sanity? Maybe the person will come like maybe once a week, once every 3 days. You guys need to sit down to have a serious talk, because honestly, having a third party in every relationship is always a recipe for disaster.
Well, thank you, sisters. Thank you for that advice. So we've heard everything that the sisters have said, and I'm sure it's going to help this young man. But it's time for us to take a quick break, and when we come back, I will be sharing my own thoughts. Don't go nowhere.
Spicy, finger-licking, and onga-licious. Here's how to make your peppered onga soybean protein chunks with fried yam. First, grind onions and red chili together. Place the 45 grams pack of onga soybean protein chunks in a bowl. Add 100 ml of water. Soak for 10 minutes until the water has been absorbed by the chunks. Then, fry until they are golden brown. In the same pan, add in your blended mix and fry for a bit. season the mix with Onga 3 Mix. Add a little water and salt to taste. After a bit, add in your fried Onga soybean protein chunks, stir and allow it to cook. Add in chopped onions, bell peppers, and mix it all together. When it's cooked, enjoy your Ongalicious peppered soybean protein chunks with crispy fried yam.
Meet the new Mrs. Chima.
And I'm not sure say your hospital go happy if you hear the filler way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
I could never imagine you would end up being my stepmother.
Anybody with the capacity to give you great joy can also bring you insufferable pain.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenyi na da da da. So pa mediane no abe. Come on, Gino, do your magic. And papa ka no kunu abefi.
Johnny tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back, guys. If you're just joining us, this is Sisters, and I'm here with my sisters. So we've actually listened to two interesting stories, and the sisters have given their advice. But before I actually share my thoughts on these stories, I would like to say a very big thank you to the sisters. Thank you, sisters.
Thank you for having us.
Without you, I don't think, people will actually know what to do. You guys are like saving grace to people's relationships.
Amen.
You know that.
Hallelujah. Preach.
because the manner in which people send these messages, they actually believe in what you guys have to say, and that's why you guys are really, really important to this day and age. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we actually listened to two stories. I'm going to start with the last one that we just heard right now. I would want to say to the young man, please, we already know that you have planted that seed that's, of doing whatever you want to do, but don't try it. Do not try it. Whatever you're trying to do, don't even do it. Because you might think that you can hide it, but obviously it's going to bust open one day. And like Olivia said, whatever that you do, your wife definitely knows that, your wife's eye is definitely going to be on you from now on. And also, you need to understand where your wife is coming from. Maybe you are acting a certain way towards your mate without even knowing. And, sometimes these things or this kind of behaviors actually sows a seed of, anger or mistrust in women. And I think that's what's happening to your wife, and that's why your wife is reacting the way she's reacting. And it's not because she is jealous, it's just because she's seeing something that she probably does not understand. And also you need to understand that wherever your wife is coming from is different from the environment that you're giving her now. So it's just about making your wife a bit comfortable, and at the end of the day, it's all about you having conversations. And when we go back to the first story, that young man, trying to be the all-saving savior to that young lady, you people, your matter is really complicated. But honestly, I think you are making yourself too available for the young lady. And secondly, I also think that you are really enjoying the bond that you have with that young lady. But the truth is that with the bond and the friendship that you guys have, you have already said it, that you are not ready to get married to this lady. And if you're not ready to get married to this lady, it's important for you to let this lady be. Let her go. And if you are that good friend, it's time for you to have that conversation and ask her, or just open up to her and tell her that, look, I cannot marry you right now. And if you think your clock is ticking, it's time for you to look elsewhere. Or better still, like the teacher said, just, advise her to, let go of you both. Let her just sit and think about her life. Think about, loving herself. And probably when she goes through that process, she would understand that, okay, you both probably are not good for me. You can just be a friend. And that young man that has been with her for how many years? 12 years? Well, that man just made her Lord of the Rings, but it's important for women not to be Lord of the Rings. Like, I don't like that. I don't really like that. So just have that conversation with her and just be true to her. But once more, I'd like to say a very big thank you to Ghana AIDS Commission, Red Ribbon Campaign, Onga Mama's Helping Hand, and Kel Kids Toothpaste for sponsoring this show. And remember that you can send all your issues, your troubles, your frustrations to sisterislive@gmail.com. And of course, the sisters would do the needful by sharing their advice. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. I would like to say a very big thank you once more to sisters for this wonderful show. I really enjoyed it. And I'm sure all those that sent their problems and their issues will actually take this in good faith. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I hope to see you next week, same time on this channel, Citi TV. This has been Sister, and my name is Chris Carter. Bye.
Youth fades, love droops, the leaves of friendship fall.